Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Burgio, Mark, Novak, and we've got the most important budget since World War II came out last night. Good morning, Mark. What did you think?
What a whopper. What a whopper.
Yeah.
Millions and millions, billions and
Billions
billions
of dollars for
spread
you.
around for everyone.
Money, money, money.
Yes. And I'd love people's interaction today. Write your comments. Make sure you stick to Novak Properties Facebook if you're writing your comments so we can see them come up here. But, Michael, what did you reckon about it? Like, obviously, we've gone through a bit of research this morning and stuff on it, how it relates to property. What were your brief takeaways?
Yeah, so the brief takeaway is more money. Like they did have a lot of plans scheduled for 2021, 2022. They've just really brought everything forward, haven't they? Like the tax cuts, they've extended the first home buyer scheme, affordable housing, but mainly you made a great observation that they made with, what was it, Mark? That's basically the more wealthier people, when they get incentives, they save it, and where the lower income people get the income, they spend it, and so a lot of it's been shaped around that as well. So maybe we should start with the tax cut.
I think if you want to work out what happened last night in that budget, work this out in 5 seconds. That if the wealthy don't stimulate the economy when they get breaks with tax cuts, apparently. So the medium class and the lower class will get the incentive, tax breaks, whatever. They will spend it. They will redistribute it through the economy, apparently. But the wealthy will put in their pocket. So if you want to understand what's made this budget tick, understand that what's actually really happened is they're trying to redistribute some of the wealth that's out there and get it into the lower to mid class through this budget.
And to give out some specifics, I'll bring up the article, Mark, with the tax. Let's go through tax. So give me a sec. I'll share the screen, and then we can all talk through it. Boom, boom.
So it's a little bit Robin Hood.
Yeah.
it's a little bit Robin Hood. And Robin Hood, if you haven't watched it, I'd be shocked if steal from the rich, give to the poor. That's the approach of this tax. So let's have a look at the tax bracket. So what they're actually doing is they're reevaluating. So when you're paying your tax, if you earn a little money, you pay a little tax. If you earn a lot of money, you pay a lot of tax. So what they've tried to do is the brackets in the low income to the medium income, they've adjusted so you pay less tax.
Yeah.
So you get more in your pocket. So what do you got there? Can you zoom up?
So basically, New South Wales can review. Okay, so here we go. I'll go from the top here. Anyone paying tax is set to receive some money back in their pockets, although the largest amounts will likely go to those earning more than $90,000 a year. This money is set to be delivered straight away with these tax cuts. Backdated is a key word as well, guys. Backdated.
Yep. Now, I also noticed there was $200 in there for new employees in between the age of 18 to 35 per week awarded to employers. I think what we've learned the last 6 months, or particularly what the government's learned the last 6 months, is they want to incentivize people that are working.
Yes.
People that are not working, or just working a little bit, just not even touching the sides. They're trying to not incentivize those people to do nothing. So I think when you have a look at this incentive to where they put the tax break, I think they put that into active workers, into that bracket of wages.
So you look at that. Someone earning 60 grand a year is saving $1,400. Someone earning 120 saving 4,000. So pretty good stuff there with tax. Basically, a lot of these tax cuts were scheduled for 2022, 2021, and they've brought it forward. Now, Okay, Luke. Now, what have they done with the first home deposit scheme, Mark? First home deposit scheme.
All right. Well, it was a bit useless. So again, when you look at that Robin Hood approach of what they do, they figured if they can help the young people into good debt, it's a healthy move for our economy, and it's a help. So rather than pushing the young'uns into rental accommodation, they're pushing the young'uns to owner occupy. They said to the young'uns out there, if you buy for less than 600K, we will allow you to use a 5% deposit. Now, unfortunately, when you normally only use a 5% deposit, the banks make you get a thing called LMI, which is lender's mortgage insurance. LMI, or the banks do that because I guess that's the bank, the government does that as well. But with LMI, that can cost a purchaser 10 or 20 grand. They can literally dump that money. So not having LMI can save them a fortune. Only having a 5% deposit can save them a fortune. So they're not, saving for 5 or 7 years. So if you're buying something for 600 grand and you have 30 grand deposit, not only do you not pay stamp duty of 20 grand, you don't pay LMI, and you can use a 5% deposit. Problem was you couldn't buy shit in a lot of parts of Sydney with 600 grand. So they've moved that to
up to $1 million is the biggest extension, but no, up to 800,000, which is massive.
900K. 900K
zero
is where that's sitting at now. So you will be able to use 5% deposit if you are buying a 2-bedroom unit or a 3-bedroom unit or a little house. In some parts of Sydney, you can get a house for under 900 grand, and you can have as little as a 5% deposit. Couple that with a 2.5% interest rate. That's half the price of renting.
It's big, isn't it? It's big, and we've already gone through. We've done plenty of topics on the show, Mark, where we've gone through a one bedder v renting v buying, and it's positive, a couple $100 a week from. So now to be able to buy something more, because a lot of people always said, a lot of first home owners, they don't like to separate an investment to what they would live in themselves. So when they only had the budget of 450, 550, 650, they were like, no, I don't like that property. I wouldn't live in it. But it's like, you don't have to live in it. Well, you do for the first little bit, but you don't have to live in it forever. So don't look at it from what you feel comfortable living in. Look at it, what's a good investment, and just buy. But a lot of people just couldn't do that, could they? They just...
Yeah, you're totally right. They couldn't maintain their lifestyle that they have in rental accommodation by buying something.
So there it is, 750 to 950. Okay, I'll put the article. Now, affordable housing, Mark. We wanted to touch on that.
Yeah. So with affordable housing, there's a bit of a problem that I think government recognises, but not a lot of people out there recognise. We in the height of 2 to 4 weeks in COVID, we had 70 properties open house for lease. 70 properties open house for lease on a Saturday. We have we generally hold 25 to 35 open houses for rental in any other period. Now, this is a scary number. We've only had, during the weekend, we had 14 properties for lease open for inspection. It's a low number. What does that mean? Yeah, 14. So what does that mean? It means that there's going to be there's going to be a pressure on rent because there's low stock. That means tenants are going to be fighting more for properties. That means tenants are going to be paying more. We had one in Freshwater that was $950. We had 14 applications on it, and it went for $1,100. So that would have gone for $950 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Now it is going.
That's the key thing, Mark. Only 3, 4. That's the big thing people need to register as well, because it doesn't normally move that fast. Only 2, 3, 4 months ago, we were saying on this show how tight the market was and prices are coming down. And here we are now saying, guys, it's the total opposite. And it's not that we don't know what we're talking about. The market can move that quickly. So when you hear, so people, I find they hear something and then they think it's going to be valid or true for years. But with the property market, things move quickly, they shift. So when you hear something and it works for you, then adapt to it. Don't sit on it, because anyone sitting on, so someone who would have heard pricing is lower for rentals 3 months ago, let's talk about moving, them and their partner just and they don't do anything. Now they're going to go, let's now do it. It's totally 180. Now price is back up. It's the total opposite. So a big thing is acting when you can act. And we say it all the time, Mark. Buy when you can
move
buy.
advantage. First move advantage. There is definitely, if you don't think that there's first move advantage in this world, you're wrong. Particularly what I've seen with COVID, Michael, some of the prices that we saw through COVID, like, come on, seriously.
Yeah.
Some of the rental prices for commercial properties, some of the rental prices for sales properties, it's nuts. So if you made a move in the height of COVID, you would have made a nice bunch of money for rentals or for sales.
Yep.
If you're a prospective tenant or a prospective purchaser.
Now, there's some news about granny flats as well, extending and fast-tracking granny flats to really push up the building and trading economy. One thing I've noticed, having a look at all the stuff from the budget, is they want to push people to build, renovate properties, new builds for homes, new builds for granny flats, just because really helping the people on the ground. So I think that's a big one that we're going to see the effect of this push for development. And not just 20-story unit block buildings, mini development, mum and dad developments, building a granny flat, building a deck, renovating the kitchen, all that stuff that really supports local areas, communities, microeconomies within your suburbs. Well,
there's a problem there because they're punishing investors, and they're punishing medium to high wealth individuals that have investment properties with not lending them. What that then means is there's not a stock drop. There's not a stock surplus of investment properties, which is pushing rental prices up. So I think the government's very conscious in the budget, which is what we're talking about today, about this word affordable housing, because they are making it unaffordable by not lending to investors. They are making it unaffordable by not incentivizing the higher wealth investors, which means they've then got to really help with the other hand to get first home buyers into their properties.
Yeah. And there's a big thing, a big takeaway from the budget, where you've got the winners who are basically people paying tax, people looking to buy, people looking to build, and the losers, which, like, obviously you want everyone to do well, but the government's really put everyone in two categories, and whoever's adding to the economy, they're really supporting. Now, the losers, anyone not paying tax, big businesses, and anyone relying on social housing. So big businesses, they're in their own world, millions of dollars. They're sort of like, you guys can survive. But then you think, well, what about all the workers under them? They're getting the tax break from what we already discussed, but they're not giving any big business benefit, which they can pocket directly. They're giving it to you. So instead of going, an old way of thinking is, okay, we'll give Coles a really good deal, and hopefully they pass it on to their employees, where basically they've said nothing for Coles, but we're going to give the employees a direct tax cut. Anyone not paying tax, so obviously the government need tax to take their money, and they give you some back, and anyone relying on social housing. So they've really split into two markets, and they're doubling down on the people in the first column. In this article, which I've shared, the winners, they could call it, the losers in the tax budget. So I think that's very good, because I know a lot of economies through like socialism are like, well, we're just going to give everyone money. We'll help, like, instead of incentivizing the free market to create the money, create the wealth and get us out of it, they're just like, we'll just give people money. We'll increase the dole. We'll increase this. We'll just pay for it. They're really wanting people to get it going themselves. So I think it's very important.
Don't forget, the ultimate dream, like for most governments in the world, is they really don't like when there's huge poverty and extreme wealth. They really don't like that. So that the governments love when everyone is sitting in the middle. So when that curve is like a bell curve in the middle, you've got your poverty. There always will be. You got all of your wealth sitting in the middle of the curve, which is your most of your population, and then you got some uber wealthy at the end. They don't like to see the curve the other way around, where there's no medium class, there's a lot of poverty, and there's a lot of high wealth. So again, when you look at this budget, it's very simply that's what it's doing, and that's why I keep referring to the Robin Hood approach of the budget.
Yeah, it's big. So I'll put a couple of the links in there for everyone. Anything else you want to add on to this, Mark?
Man, I think it's good. What I want to say.
And good work to the government.
Yeah.
Just good work. I know you wanted to touch on that. We bash them a lot, but
yeah. And I had that conversation with Lisa last night and my wife, and it was like, you know what a great country. Like, if you rocked around on this weekend, on these beautiful 2 sunny days, anywhere you went in New South Wales, whether you're a staycation or whether you're rocking around New South Wales, we are a beautiful city. We are a beautiful country, and considering the adversities we've been dealt with as a country and as a world, I think we should be really proud of how everyone's acted, including our government.
Yeah, and it's good. I think times are coming. Good times are coming as well. So let's get. I feel like a news anchor, just like with the papers, just like this, like and to the next guest. I like that.
Well, you know what else? And I always refer to a man I'm a bit of a fan of, which is Harry Triggerboff.
Yes.
And he's commented a couple of weeks ago, it's time to work. And I think as a country and as an economy, it's just time to get out there and work. We've got Christmas coming. Let's work like animals up until Christmas.
I'll put that link in there, guys. He had a really good interview with, I think, Seven News or Sky.
So good.
I'll put the link in there.
It was with Sky. It was with Sky.
Yeah. That's a good chat, guys. All righty. That's it for the night news.
Hope we helped everyone. Love to know your comments. They always help us with your support. And have a great day, Michael. Thank you.
Not a problem. Cheers, guys. Bye.
See you later.